You ever worked with one of those temp agencies and they send you an employee and they turn out to be crummy, so you send them back for another one? That's Joe Biden. He is the temp. He is clearly not working out. We've known all along, but now the establishment, Democrats, the media are acknowledging they have a major problem on their hands. And yes, it seems all but official that Joe, sometime next year, will have to leave office. This is being, from what I'm told, actively planned in the White House. Now, they have concerns about Kamala Harris, and they have some methods in handling her. But take a look at this headline from the New York Times, okay? At 79, Biden is testing the boundaries of age and the presidency. Coming from the Times, this is, they love this, okay? The Times, for them to write what you're about to see, this is major. We've known all along, but let's see. Polls show many Americans consider Mr. Biden too old, and some Democrat strategists do not think he should run again. He often shuffles when he walks, you think, and aides worry he will trip on a wire. His speeches can be flat and listless. He sometimes loses his train of thought, has trouble summoning names, or appears momentarily confused. Fascinating to see them finally acknowledge this in writing. The polls, that's part of it. You can't deny these numbers. They're real. 64% believe that Biden is too old to be president. For Democrats under the age of 30, 94% prefer a different presidential nominee in 2024. 64% of Democrats do not want Biden to run for re-election, and Biden approval rating is at overall 33%. Again, these are New York Times, Harvard University polls. This is horrendous. It's no surprise. Back in early 2021, when Joe could not handle the walk onto Air Force One, I knew it. I knew it in my bones. This could not last. And the fake news tried to cover this up. They did. They can't do it any longer. They could pretend that he was normal when he was in the basement. Now, the whole world can see these images. You can deny, you can pretend it didn't happen, but that's not going to work on a stage as big as the presidency. It's just not. No, I've known it all along. You guys too. I was just saying last week, he's done. It can't last. It can't last. So this is bad news for a lot of Democrats. They're going to look very foolish. And even some former Republicans, whatever Arnold Schwarzenegger is these days, he wanted to be with Joe Biden. He said he was with Joe Biden forever. He'd stay with him forever.
We support you with all our hearts as you seek to bring us together. President-elect Biden, we stand with you today, tomorrow, and forever.
Yeah, forever. I remember at the time, it doesn't work that way, Arnold, in this country, in America. You should know that. You've been in politics. How about that unifying of the country? No, he never got around to that, never even tried. So we got a problem, though, and they've got a problem with Kamala Harris. Now, Joe Biden hates Kamala Harris. Don't believe anything else. There is real bad blood between these two people. Why it was her, and no, I still don't understand. There was some sort of an arrangement that maybe one day we'll get, but it goes back to this.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of all people.
I have supported the ERA from the very beginning when I ran
Vice President Biden, 30 seconds.
I've seen, feuds on a debate stage, but that's pretty much unforgivable in politics. Joe despises her to this day, and they don't want her to be president. She probably is for a little while. Now, theoretically, she could be technically around for a long time. Take a look at this. If Joe resigns sometime after January 20th or 21st, she could actually run for 2 terms. She could run in 2024. If she won, she could run for re-election in 2028, and she'd be around for 9 years. But here's the thing. That's totally hypothetical, theoretical, and ridiculous, because everybody knows she can't get elected on her own. No way. She's bad at vice president. She was a bad candidate for president. And there's this, though. We're hearing that there are discussions. They're thinking about it. How do they extract a promise from Kamala? You can be president, but you can't run for president. Maybe it's an offer she'll take. We'll see. By the way, Hunter Biden is at the White House a lot lately. Joe obviously doesn't want to see Hunter prosecuted, but he is very prosecutable, it looks like. There's a report in the Daily Mail. We all know that Hunter was using prostitutes, but he may have been bringing them in across state lines, all the way up from Boston to New York and Washington. That might be, arguably, sex trafficking. He's in trouble. Any deal for Joe to leave the presidency, probably a wink and a nod, something will save Hunter. It'll be part of the agreement from prosecution. This Daily Mail stuff is pretty nasty. Here he is with crack cocaine arguing with a prostitute.
No, I just weighed out the bag. It's 2.06.
2.07 without the bag.
So how long is
Okay, that may or may not be a prostitute. It's a woman, and they're having a dispute over the weight of the crack cocaine. This from a hacked iPhone, according to the Daily Mail. So you think about how the Bidens have been covered, and this kind of stuff, this tawdry stuff that we all know about, but it's somehow overlooked by the mainstream media. Yet what they say about the Trump family and the Trump children, these are high-achieving people who don't have trouble with the law. Until, however, their father gets involved in politics, and then they're all, these are the worst people in the world? No, these are good people. The swamp wants to scare off anybody like them from going into politics. These are great people. By the way, Eric Trump is going to be on the show in just a little bit. So that brings us back to Joe and the mainstream media, all right? Because they know about Joe's limitations. They always have, that he wasn't very smart. And they see these pictures. They talk about him among themselves. And they also knew when Joe was in the basement that he could not handle the rigors of a traditional campaign. Remember how much moral cover they gave him. Joe was doing the right thing because of COVID in the basement. Those crowds that did not show up during the campaign, these were major, major problems for a presidential campaign. And they colluded. The mainstream media colluded with the Biden campaign to cover all this stuff up. But once he became president, the stage was too big, and you can't cover it up anymore. We all saw it, even them and their viewers, right? This kind of stuff, the weird walk, and then just giving up when the questions got too hard during a press conference.
No, wait a minute. I'm asking you a question. Is that accurate, the best of your knowledge? What?
Do you think that people have an issue?
He can't handle the job.